Recently, I sent an email to a client and it ended with, "I hope this really annoys you." And he thanked me for it. Okay, I'll share a little bit more about that email as well as some research that shows why me annoying him was actually really helpful and why it's gonna help you too. So here's some of the backstory that you might be able to relate to. There was something going on in his business, and I was concerned that perhaps he was making the easy choice, which would provide the most immediate relief, rather than making the right choice, which would provide a more permanent solution. Now, if you've ever been guilty of dealing with symptoms while really kind of turning a blind eye to a more root cause of a problem, hit the subscribe button on this channel. I share lots of free business tips and advice to help your business get unstuck and continue to scale up. So now let me read you a little bit more of that email. Look, I realize I'm being difficult here. I've just found that sometimes it's good to have your thought process challenged. It can either shift your perspective or it'll reinforce what you've already decided, but either of those are great outcomes. In other words, I'm just trying to provide some outside perspective. So I hope this really annoys you in the most helpful of ways. Perspective can be annoying, especially when you've already made up your mind about something and then along comes a coach or a mentor or a friend that says something like, "Oh, have you really thought about this?" And you don't want to hear that then. You're ready to just move on and tackle the next thing. But research shows us that more options lead to better decisions. In fact, Michael Bungay Stanier says that when a company makes a decision, a binary decision, in other words, it's a yes or no decision, should we or shouldn't we, there's over 50% chance that that decision is going to fail. But when they introduce a second option, in other words, should we do A or should we do B or no, then the failure rate drops to about 30%, just by introducing one additional option that opens up their thought process by sharing that perspective. So here's a lesson for you. When you have a decision to make, don't make it in a silo. After all, remember, your best thinking probably got you in that situation in the first place. So consult the counsel of your coach or your mentor or somebody who can annoy you in the best possible way. Thanks for watching.